Some interesting numbers are out in the NDP Leadership campaign. The financial numbers, how much each campaign has raised. And if we take the size of bank accounts as a proxy for the level of support, our next guest, Peggy Nash, is definitely enjoying a lot of support. Nash's campaign has raised more than $100,000 since she declared her willingness to succeed Jack Layton. And Peggy Nash joins me now from Vancouver. Peggy, help us out. Yours was pretty good. The leader is Tom Mulcair, $157,000, I think, but $100,000 is it's a lot of money. I wonder, it would make me a bit nervous if $100,000 of money was behind me betting on my success. How does that make you feel, and what does it say about the strength of various campaigns?
Well, I feel terrific that that's the kind of support that I'm getting across the country. Remember, David, I was one of the last candidates to get into the race, so I started a bit behind the others in terms of my ability to raise funds. But I'm finding good support across the country, and you know, I'm trying to inspire people to join the party so that they can vote, and also to help me continue my campaign by donating. So that's what we're all doing, and with different levels of success.
Were there any numbers there that might have surprised you? And I'm going to ask about Nikki Ashton. We had her on the program last night. She's only raised $10,000, and she too, when we asked her this last night, she said, you know, she declared late, similar to you, but she's only raised $10,000. Are you surprised that she and Romeo Saganash have not raised a whole lot of money?
You know, frankly, I am a bit surprised, because I think they're two good candidates. They've been working extremely hard. They've been traveling across the country. And yeah, I was a bit surprised. But remember, that's the fundraising to the end of last year. And so they will have been out fundraising throughout the month of January as well. And hopefully those numbers will pick up for all of us.
Let me ask you about one of the issues that came up in the Halifax debate over last weekend. And that was about Paul Dewar's choice of Charlie Angus to be his deputy leader should Paul Dewar win the election. It seemed to me a little odd. You don't often see this in a leadership race where somebody names the deputy leader before they win. That seemed odd. But then some said, wait a minute, you know, Charlie Angus is a white guy like you from the same province. Do you have some thoughts about the appropriateness of Dewar naming Angus as his deputy, and whether Angus is the guy he should have as his deputy?
Well, you know, it's up to him to make that decision. I do recognize we have a very large and diverse country. It's ethnically diverse, it's linguistically diverse, and obviously we want to bring in young people, we want to bring in new Canadians, we want to certainly build our base in Quebec and expand throughout Canada. I'm here in Vancouver. I've been meeting with members of the Chinese-Canadian community and the Indo-Canadian community. So certainly my vision of the country is one where we're reaching out to our diversity, and I think that will be a strength to help us build even greater support over the coming years.
I want to ask you a bit too about how you go about managing supporters, staff, partisans, people who really want to see you win. Because, and I'll set this up a bit, we had a situation last night where someone working for the Top campaign was canvassing around looking for support, phoned up a Romeo Saganash supporter, and in the course of that conversation, the Top canvasser suggested to the Saganash supporter that Romeo did not speak French. And of course he does speak French. And we know that ability to speak French is an issue in this campaign. The Top campaign has since apologized and sorted things out with their canvasser. But how do you prevent situations like that? You want, I assume, your supporters to be aggressive and passionate about your campaign, but where do you draw the line, I suppose?
Well, you know, I would certainly know right off the bat that expression by a canvasser would not represent the views of my colleague Brian Top, because I know he wouldn't say that. But you know, we try to, you know, we have enthusiastic canvassers, and what we say to them is they should be focusing on my qualities and why I'm the better person to lead the party, and not comment on the other candidates. If someone says, why are you better, let's focus on what's better as opposed to why you might think someone else is not as good. So we try to have our canvassers focus on the positive. But you're dealing with a lot of people, enthusiastic volunteers right across the country, so it's unfortunate if something like that happened, and hopefully it's an isolated incident that the rest of us can avoid.
Now, I want to ask you about the pitch that you're making in BC as you're looking for supporters there, because as you know, politics in BC are a little different than they are in the rest of the country. There's a whole lot of provincial New Democrats, and they're doing very well in the polls right now, but a lot of those same folks who might vote for the New Democrats provincially might vote federally for a Liberal Party, and might vote federally for the New Democrats too. So you'll be pitching to some of the folks that I think Nathan Cohen is aiming at when he talks about, you know, nomination contests not being split, this broadening out the party. So what's your pitch then to someone who's voted federally liberally but might be a little bit orange when it comes to a provincial vote?
Well, you know, I think we share a common goal, which is that we want to replace the Harper government in 2015. And I think that we need to certainly work with like-minded people in order to make that happen. Personally, I'd like to see a system of proportional representation where every vote counts, and where we wouldn't end up with a situation where a party gets less than 40% of the vote and wins a majority government. But what I'm doing is trying to reach out to people and say, let's work together on issues of common cause and build that support across the country, and that a new Democratic government will put the focus on democratic reform, proportional representation, and hopefully we can inspire people who voted for other parties in the past to come and join us for the election in 2015.
Peggy Nash in Vancouver tonight. Always good to chat with you, Peggy, and good luck.
Thanks, David.